Hello, this is Clemmy Games and welcome to a first look at Defend Your Kingdom, a match 4 game about slaying monsters with powerful spells, developed by Burning Pig Entertainment and released on Steam in June 2017. For disclosure, I received this game for free. As a big fan of match 3 games, I'm always on the lookout for the latest and greatest in the genre. There's just something about matching gems and watching them explode, only to somehow set off a fantastic chain reaction which is really satisfying. From Bejeweled, Candy Crush, Puzzles and Dragons, 10 Million, Puzzle Quest, You Must Build a Boat, Be Glitched, and many more, I have spent quite a chunk of my time with the genre, and Defend Your Kingdom is the latest to catch my attention. Here, instead of having a square or rectangular grid, we instead have triangles, which presents their own unique challenge. However, while the idea and concept is special, I do feel that it does just miss the mark by a little bit. For those of you not familiar with match 3 elements being used in something other than a Candy Crush-like game, these games in general do have some form of conflict or combat to them. Here, you play as a wizard who has to take on oncoming enemies. To do so, you have to cast spells by clicking on the triangle tiles to loop them into the chamber, after which clicking on the vines in the left-hand side area will then cast the spell. While you can cast spells using singular tiles, this is highly not recommended since the resulting output is pretty ineffective. Matching tiles to form larger triangles will result in them combining, and this effect can stack and the number gets higher and higher. For example, 4 triangles make a triangle with the number 4 on it, and this triangle, combined with another 3, will result in a triangle with the number 7 on it, and so on. Initially, we start off with 4 different colors of tiles: red, blue, cyan, and brown, corresponding to the spells of Fireball, a Water Jet, Wind, and Earth Spikes. The Fireball is a pretty straightforward splash damage attack, while the Water Jet does seem to have limited range. Wind slows enemies down as they move towards the wizard, and finally, Earth Spikes is a very powerful attack which damages all enemies on screen. One of the main objectives in the game is to survive in a level and to kill as many enemies as possible, which will net you gold, which is used in the progression system. Another critical component is that certain enemies have stars on them, and killing these will grant you that star, which is also used in the progression. One issue that I have here is that enemy waves seem to be endless, meaning that there is no definitive end of the level. Rather, the game simply throws more and more enemies at you until ultimately the wizard will succumb to them. The lack of closure or finality was certainly grating on me, since I wanted to feel like I accomplished something in defeating all enemies and clearing an area of foes, making it safer for the people in that area. However, a counter-argument to that is that there is a high-score chase element to this game, but that is not to my liking. Next, the progression system here was quite fun. Firstly, gold is used to upgrade your character's weapons, both magic and melee, as well as to unlock and upgrade the wizard's costume, from the default Gandalf-like grey to a witch doctor-like outfit, and even one which is inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's quite a nice variety here. Stars obtained are used to upgrade your spells, increasing their effectiveness through a wide variety of means, such as increasing damage, range, and other characteristics. As you move on to new levels, you do unlock new tiles as well, such as the Green Triangle, which is a heal spell by default, and even a Direwolf token, which can be used to summon a very helpful companion that both attacks and blocks enemy advancement. Finally, the interesting part about this game is that you can even combine different spell colors together to create a whole new spell or attack. For example, mixing the healing tile and the water tile results in a water dragon, which damages all enemies on screen. Mixing fire and wind results in a lightning attack, and mixing fire and earth results in a powerful melee attack damaging enemies closest to the wizard. It was pretty cool that such combos existed in a match 3 game, and I think that other developers can certainly learn from this. However, my main issue with the game is the way the tiles interact with each other and how new tiles are added to the board. Being triangles, I thought that it would be interesting to see how the tiles can be programmed to cascade and fall, such as in most match 3 games. If they did behave in a certain way, it might then be possible to plan and chain matches together, which again is one of the more satisfying parts of such games. However, the first problem here is that once a match is made, new tiles simply spawn in to replace the used up tiles, not affecting the rest of the board. Unlike traditional match 3 games, where new tiles enter from the top and existing tiles fall a level down, this replacement of tiles made it difficult for combos to be created. Next, the tile sliding mechanic did not control all that well. Sure, this is probably because this is a port of a mobile game, but other titles like 10 Million have shown that this can work well. However, there's just something off about the controls in Defend Your Kingdom. Finally, the way that the triangles are supposed to be matched is also an issue. It is rather difficult to wrap my mind around having to arrange 4 tiles in that particular configuration, especially with the sliding mechanics. Having matching be difficult in a match 4 game is pretty crazy to me, since the simplicity and accessibility of traditional match 3s is one of its appeal. To close off, I just wanted to touch upon an aspect which might be a little touchy, in that some of the assets and art, shall we say, are heavily inspired by the source material. I did mention Avatar: The Last Airbender, but even the names of levels and their designs can seem a little unoriginal, such as Welcome to the Jungle and Hall of Doom, where the design of the word Doom is suspiciously like the font used for its software's Doom. Now, there probably is a fair use argument for this, and the game is distinct enough from the source material so as to not cause any confusion, so this is probably nothing serious. It can be seen as paying a cheeky homage to these IPs, which are significant to the developer, and I do love references and winks and nods in games. Overall, I think that Defend Your Kingdom has an interesting idea, nice art, and pretty fun systems. However, its core sliding and matching mechanics feel off to me, which is a shame since I do love me some Match 3. Regardless, interesting game for developers to have a look at, since there is something to thinking out of the box and changing up the Match 3 genre. Anyway, that will do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.